welcome to Be Engaged. I am your host, Michelle Harper. We are talking with Piper Ness, my niece, and Tyler Bovenzi. They both recently graduated from California Polytechnic State University, which we shortened to Cal Poly in the episode. Let's see what they have to say about entering the workforce. Okay, we'll be starting some things off with a fun fact. This is the format for you guys. So I have two, one on Cal Poly and then one on college graduates. So we'll see which one makes it. So the Cal Poly one, the top graduating field at Cal Poly is business administration. Piper, that's yours, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. And then the other ones are popular fields include mechanical engineering, architecture, and computer science. Is that you, Tyler?
That's enough.
You?
Yeah, I graduated computer engineering, but
okay.
pretty similar.
All right. So that's accurate. Okay, this next one, I really want your input on this one. So the college hires entering the current workforce, as AI Copilot tells me, many of them are turning to gig work. It said almost a third of new college graduates this year expect to take on gig work. So this trend highlights the adaptability and entrepreneurial spirit of the new generation. Is that what you're seeing? Are any of your peers doing, or are you guys doing gig work now?
For me, I've seen that a lot just because nowadays it's so hard for people to find jobs. I know people coming out of college, they've been out of college for over a year and they're still trying to find their jobs. So I think a lot of people are kind of reverting to doing gig work until they find like a full-time job. So whether it's like promoting stuff on social media or trying to be like an influencer or doing like coaching for either like sports or teaching, I just think like because the workforce, it's so hard to find jobs nowadays, people are just trying to really get into anything that they can.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
You guys are both full-time jobs. So
Yes.
Tyler, is yours totally full-time? I hear you're working pretty hard these days.
Yep, it's pretty full time. Yep, long hours, doing a lot of interesting stuff. But yeah, very much full time. I did have a brief internship when I got out of college for about 10 weeks. So that was kind of gig work where you went in being temporary and got to learn a lot of different things. And I think that's kind of a cool aspect of the gig work thing that you mentioned. Is it's a great way to kind of dip your toe in and learn a lot without going straight to a full-time job.
Oh, good. And that intern, that was at JPL, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it was at Nest JPL.
Very
Pasadena.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're entering the workforce. We got marketing, we got avionics engineering. What is it like? Is it exhilarating? Is it scary? Tell us what's happening out there.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll talk about avionics. I'll kind of lead with that's not what I got my degree in. Started with electrical engineering and then later moved to computer engineering. But I got into avionics because it's a great way to wear a bunch of different hats and kind of apply my formal education while also learning a lot. So at a high level, I kind of work on instrumenting our aircraft as well as our flight environment. And because we have such a dynamic flight environment, and because of the importance of the data to like our company, there's a lot of different aspects to measure. So you can imagine there's things like thermocouples and accelerometers and pressure transducers, all these different sensors that we need to measure both vehicle and the environment, and all this data needs to get to the ground safely. And that's kind of my role is setting up these sensors, setting up the data pipeline.
Ooh, that's right up my wheelhouse. So data. I love the data. And it comes down from the aircraft through telemetry, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
There's a few ways to get the data to the ground safely. The easiest is to just store it on the aircraft. That's pretty dumb. You just put it on a drive in the aircraft, and when you land, you take it off. But sometimes you need to stream the data and have that telemetry. That's not trivial. There's a lot of hardware. There's a lot of radio frequency knowledge that needs to be applied in order to get good data to the ground.
Yeah, so RF signals, radio frequency, you have certain bands. So I'm more in the space side, but avionics and airplanes and things and hypersonics, I would imagine same thing. You have to pick a radio frequency and you encrypt it and then you transmit it over that radio frequency. Is that about how it works?
Yeah, that's Correct.
Okay.
It's always comes down to that pipeline, how much data you could get, and that depends on your bandwidth depends on the frequency, which changes a lot of based if you're on a space environment or just local environment. There's different hardware that you use for both, and sometimes where you would want a lower data rate, just because it's less prone to failure.
Oh, nice. So that's fun. So did you know what you were getting into? And this is
Not
kind
at
of
all.
fun.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I graduated with a nerd degree, computer engineering, and some electrical engineering experience. And now I'm still kind of in the weeds and doing nerdy stuff, but I'm getting to apply it to this like super cool aerial vehicle, and learn about rocket propulsion along the way.
I did hear that you've kind of always been like this. So in college, I remember Piper, Tyler, you had made Piper a nightlight or something from scratch, and there was lights in it, or I don't remember exactly on the. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Didn't you make that?
Yeah, I made it
by yourself. Like you just kind of figured it out
from
and
scratch.
made this nightlight.
Tyler can explain this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's hard to see. There's like pictures on each side, so you can kind of see the outline, but obviously it's a nightlight, so you have to plug it in. Tyler, you
my
can
gosh, how
explain how you
cute.
made this, because I don't really know you did.
Yeah. So the engineering term for that is lithophane. What I was really looking and trying to do was make something sentimental. Also, I like engineering, and that's kind of like also my passion. So it was a cool way to kind of combine those. I did some CAD to take those pictures into like a 3D map where the dark parts were thicker plastic and the lighter parts were thinner plastic, such that the light in the middle could, the Piper showed
Oh,
it
that's
out there,
great.
but-
Oh, the light. I love it.
It's hard to see.
That's
Yep.
pretty cool. And that you did that on
Right.
your own in college and just playing around. That's good use. That's a good use of your knowledge for
Yep.
sure.
That was a fun project. I had to do my own custom electronics, which it's pretty simple, but still is fun to do and fun to make a homemade project where I got to use those skills.
Oh, how
Yeah,
cute.
that's very cute. I definitely cried when he gave it to me.
Oh, the
lot.
best. That's the best. So
So
Piper, marketing. So business administration.
Yeah.
You say, hey, I'm going to go in. Was marketing what you ultimately wanted to do when you got out of college? Or tell us that journey.
Yeah, so going into college, I was not really sure what I wanted to do at all. I was going to college, like both of you know, I played beach volleyball at Cal Poly, so
Woohoo!
I was going, woo! So I was going for the sports, and obviously Cal Poly is very good academically, and they've always been known for that, and I knew that business was really, really popular there and successful, so I was like, there's so much I can do with business. Let me just go into that major, see if I like it, and then kind of took some of those classes, and then my junior year declared concentration in marketing. And so from there I was like, okay, yeah, I really like marketing. I loved every single marketing class I took. So I was like, okay, I know I want to do marketing after college. I was kind of deciding between doing like pro beach volleyball and or going kind of corporate and doing marketing. And ultimately I was like, I'm going to put my beach volleyball aside and get into the real world. So as soon as I graduated, I was looking for a job, and like everybody else, it was really, really hard. I literally probably applied 50 to 100 times
Whoa.
different jobs on LinkedIn, on Indeed, and you barely even hear responses. And for me, especially because I played beach volleyball, I didn't have much time for a job like during college, so I don't have too much experience. And a lot of those jobs, even if they're entry level, they still require 1 to 2 years of experience.
We didn't do an internship. You were playing volleyball.
Yeah.
And you're like, how am I going to get a job now? Because I need to have an
Exactly.
internship.
Yeah, and I'm looking at all these entry jobs, and I'm like, okay, like this looks perfect. Oh wait, I can't do it. Even though it's entry, it still needs 1 to 2 years of experience.
Yeah.
So it was like a battle trying to find a job. I ended up finding one, knew I wanted to do marketing the whole time. I'm a marketing assistant at a real estate staffing and recruiting company. I'm pretty much in charge of all the social media, and then regards to the assistant part, I'm basically an assistant to the manager of marketing and our CEO and our COO. So with the marketing, manager, I pretty much help her with anything that she needs. So I'm in every single meeting with her, taking meeting minute notes, and I do all the inventory for marketing. So if any of our regional managers need inventory or marketing materials or any swag, I ship that out, and just do a little
great
bit.
access. I mean,
Yeah.
access to the CEO and the COO and what's their day like, and that is phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
So I'm learning so much just from being in all of the meetings. I'm kind of on the inside of everything, and I get to kind of understand what is going on in the company, and that helps me to kind of learn just what a corporate life is, just because I'd never had a job before. So I've just learned a lot, and assisting our marketing manager also is really helpful because she has me assist her in every line of marketing.
Oh, wow.
So whether I'm doing social media, or I'm learning about email blasts, or I'm doing all the inventory, or I'm doing event planning for our conferences, like kind of get a little bit of everything. So it's been a pretty cool opportunity for me just to kind of step into the corporate life and the marketing and business role.
That's unique. I mean, I think that's a pretty good first step. So, okay, what's your day? You wake up in the morning. What time do you wake up? Let's take you through your day, and then Tyler, we'll go through your day. What is your day like? I think yours is a little bit different, but Piper, let's start with yours.
Tyler's is probably a little bit more interesting than mine, but I wake up every day at 7:20, and I'm out of the house by 8. So I get ready, eat breakfast, make my lunch, get there at 8:30, clock in. I'm also part admin, so I do a bunch of admin work for the company, whether it's getting the mail or ordering supplies for people, or like bringing in coffee to the break room, or buying all the snacks for everyone. I do all that. So that's kind of what I like to start with, is just like refilling the coffee if it needs to be refilled, getting the mail, kind of all of those that I just said.
Getting your day organized, getting everybody's day organized. Like, all right, let's just start the day. Here's everything. Yeah.
And everyone needs their coffee in the morning. So gotta make sure.
Wait, do you drink coffee? Do you drink coffee now? You don't. Yeah, it's acquired.
I don't, but I bought myself hot chocolate for the break room so that if I did want anything, I would just get hot chocolate.
Good.
Because I can't do coffee. But yeah, and then I write my to-do list of everything that I need to do for the day. So most of the time I have stuff that overflows into the next day just because I'm so busy, and they just give me a lot to do. I write all that down, try to get as much of it done as possible before. We always have a stand-up meeting with the marketing team where we talk about our tasks, what everybody needs to get done for the day, if there's any new, like people want social media to be promoted for this day. So we have a meeting, it's like an hour probably, just going through the tasks for the day. And then I get back to my desk, do all of the tasks I need to do, posting on social media, emailing all the regional managers, getting inventory, anything that my marketing manager needs. And then I'm in probably 2 to 3 meetings a day with my manager, and
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so those are most of the time just an hour. So I'm in there for an hour taking notes about what everyone is saying. I don't have much input. I don't really say anything. I'm just kind of in the corner writing notes.
You'll be able to. You'll have so much information. The access to information is great because then you'll be able to kind of pull it together. Someday.
And then once I'm done with those meetings, continue doing work, writing my meeting minutes after those meetings, sending those out to everybody.
And what time do you go home? What time do you end the day?
So, end of the day, then we always have a meeting at the end for an hour that tells my marketing team of what we did and how much of what we completed, and just ideas if something went wrong, just any insight about marketing that we did the day. So that is like really nice to kind of wind down and be like, okay, end of the day, this is what we did. This is what we have planned for tomorrow. And then I always leave around 5 to 5:30. I'm supposed to leave at 5, but sometimes I just kind of get lost and
because it's
keep
fun.
doing things. Yeah, I'm like, I still have stuff to do. I want to still do it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so leave around 5:30. That's something that I've really been working on since getting a corporate job is balancing my life. So having that work-life balance of doing
you get
work,
home, then what
yeah,
do? Are you like so exhausted? I can't do anything else. I can't do anything more.
the first week I was pretty exhausted. Definitely would get home, I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to do anything. But I also am trying just to like see all my friends and
Yeah.
have plans with my family, go to the beach, work out. Like I
Yeah.
try to make plans every day just to have something kind of to look forward to and also to like have some fun, even though work is not bad and not fun, but it's nice to like
Balance,
balance,
flexibility.
yeah, have the balance. So yeah, whether I feel like my family too, they love to plan things all the time.
Yep, I know.
So they'll always be like, Piper, we're doing this tonight. You should come. And I'm like, okay.
All
And like
right.
yesterday, I was driving home from work and my grandpa texted me and was like, oh, Grandma and your dad are at Royal Hawaiian. You should stop by. And I was like, okay. So I stopped by, got some ribs, hung out with all of them.
That's so fun.
So yeah, I definitely try to stay busy afterwards too, just to kind of feel fulfilled myself.
Good.
I like to stay busy.
Good. Well, it sounds like you are between the work and the home life.
I'm
So
feeling
Tyler-
really busy.
Yeah. Tyler, is that your day? It seems like you have a different day. Walk us through
A
what
little
time do you
different.
wake up and what all happens in your day.
Yeah, my day is a little different, and I think it's not, there isn't a typical day for me.
Okay.
Yeah, there's always something new changing. The time I go to work kind of changes based on what we're doing. Usually I'll try to get there at 7 a.m. Depending if we have a flight day, if we have a mission going on, that could be super early in the morning. Just depends. If we're doing a vehicle test, it could also be early. Or
Early
a later
meaning, I heard 2 a.m., sometimes 3
Yep,
a.m.
2 a.m., 3
My
a.m.
gosh.
Yep. Whatever the weather conditions, whatever the mission parameters kind of require, that's when I show up, which is fine. I'm getting used to it. I was, really enjoying college, getting to sleep until 10, 11, and just kind of roll out of bed and go to class.
No
so
more
this is,
sleeping in.
yeah, huge change in responsibility and schedule in terms of there's still being some flex in the schedule, but needing a lot more responsibility there. And then once I get there, it also changes. What I'm doing depends on kind of the phase of test we're in. If we're in a design phase, then I'll spend my morning speccing out sensors, doing the schematics for our wiring diagrams and planning out how we integrate this into our vehicle, like the down the weeds engineering technical side. If we're in like a preparation for flight, that could mean pre-flighting the aircraft, making sure that the signals are all coming out right, that we have good data, good telemetry. After a mission, I might be doing data analysis. So taking recordings that we have and extracting the data that we provide to customers and that we use internally in the company. So
this is more than just test and on the ground. You have an operational vehicle that you're giving actual data to customers to.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Yep. We've had 2 successful flights, and we were able to provide data to the customers for those. We're very successful and produced a lot of data that took months to analyze and really be able to understand what it means, both for our vehicle as well as our mission and kind of ramifications of that. But
So do
yeah.
you do the analysis too? You gather the data and do you do the analytics on it?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
You're
and-
like a one-stop shop guy.
Yeah, I don't do all of the analysis. We have a lot of responsible engineers, like people on the propulsion side, on the thermal protection side, that know a lot more about the data that we're collecting and are able to kind of conceptualize it better. But I think I'm, partially a conduit in getting that raw data, that we collect at a low level into usable data that they could explain at a higher level and like pressure. If it's a raw data, binary, how do we get that into a usable format that they could use to extract a deeper meaning about what it means for our vehicle?
So those engineers, they've probably been in the industry for a while. They have experience, and they use that experience to take what you give them and build on it and say, okay, well, this is why the customers are going to want this, or this is what this means, in context.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of helps me learn a lot about not only like the electronics aspect, but, this higher level, the aerodynamics, the propulsion side, all these different fields that I wasn't formally taught in college. I'm learning about how to conceptualize that, how to understand that, and learning a lot about things that I never learned before. And it's a great opportunity to provide a service to them in terms of, this is how the computer works, but also learning, okay, this is how a, liquid rocket engine works.
Yeah, like this is the edge. This is the actual hardware. It's very different than computer science, computer engineering.
It is. Yeah, and it definitely keeps things interesting for me because I'm not just at a desk, writing software all day. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, for me, I have this curiosity and want to learn about everything, and this is a great way to do that.
So you found your calling. Is that too far of a stretch?
I don't think that's a stretch.
Okay.
No.
You're like, I got into it. I'm an engineer. And now you're figuring out your tentacles. All right. Where exactly do I want to go? What makes me tick? What's interesting to you?
Yeah. And I don't know what that is yet. I don't know what I'm, the most passionate about, but I'm in a great opportunity now to learn a bunch of different facets of engineering that I might want to specialize in later.
Oh, you're getting a fantastic base for sure.
Absolutely.
So how long is your day? Do you get lost? Number one, do you get lost in the engineering and sometimes you lose track and you're like, wait, how long have I been here again? That used to happen to me when I was younger.
Yeah, that definitely happens to me. Sometimes the long hours come from, deadlines and schedules where I need to get this done. I have to, satisfy all these tasks before the end of the day. Sometimes it's not always the deadlines and tasks that keep me there. Sometimes it's just, curiosity where I'm working on a problem where I'm looking at some data and find something interesting in it. It's like 8:00 at night. I'm like, wow, what am I still doing here? It's time to go.
Okay, so you get home, and then what's your home like? Are you like, I'm going to bed, I'm going straight to bed? Or are you like, oh, let's see, maybe I can get a run in? Or what's your night look like?
I usually try to keep something interesting at home to keep a little bit of balance. I do work a lot, and the work-life balance that I'm giving myself isn't great and something I want to work on. But I do try to keep something fun at home, like, cooking a good meal or going to the gym every night. I don't always get that, and sometimes I just get home and I'm exhausted. I just want to watch TV for a little bit and then go to bed. But usually I'm able to work in something fun by the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. Both of your favorite TV shows right now. What's your favorite shows to watch to wind down? Just absolutely veg out. Don't have to think about anything. What's your favorite?
Tyler?
Yeah, so my favorite show kind of has to do with what I'm doing. It's called For All Mankind. And
I love that one, actually.
Yeah, it's a great one. It's about, it's like an alternative history of what happened if we lost the space race. And, we weren't the first to put a man on the moon. And kind of how the space race could keep going, and I think that's really interesting and good show. And I'm on season 4.
Ooh, season 4. Okay, Piper, what are you watching?
I have not watched shows in a very, very long time. I just feel like I'm so busy. I don't really watch TV or movies very often, but when I do, if I just want to put something on, I will look for Friends. I love Friends.
Yes.
It's such an easy show to watch, and I just put it on. I don't even need to pay attention, and I've watched it probably all the seasons 2 to 3 times, so I know every episode. Same with SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's like coming home. I mean, those are like, oh, this is like my home. I've seen this, and it's still funny.
It's a safe movie or show for me. Yeah, I literally find it funny every time, even though I know exactly what's going to happen. I love it, and it's very comforting for me, so definitely would have to say Friends.
Oh, good. So you both are in fantastic positions. So my sample size of 2 is very good. But what about your peers? And you said they're having a tough time getting jobs. Are they stressed out, and are you guys stressed out? What's the feeling like?
For me, I know a lot of my friends and just my peers in general are still kind of on the hunt for jobs. A lot of them, they either find it when they're in college and they get like some awesome opportunity, or they're looking for months. I feel like there's not really much of an in between. And I know a few of them are like, okay, even though I can't find a job, I'm still gonna like enjoy my summer and enjoy the time that I don't have to work, because you're not gonna really get that time after you start working. So they're trying to enjoy it. And then others are like, oh, I'm so eager. I just want to get a job.
Yeah, they're like, I am
want to
stressed.
make money. I'm stressed. Like, I can't find anything. Am I ever gonna find anything? So I feel like for me, my peers, definitely there's a balance between, oh, I'm just kind of ready to get the job going, or, oh, I'm okay with waiting a little bit until I find the job that is right for me.
Oh, good. Tyler, what about you and your peers?
Yeah, Tyler's peers are
Well,
very...
you have a lot of overlapping friends too, so.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's a little bit different. I mean, first of all, me and all my friends graduated a year before Piper did, so we had a little bit more time to kind of get into industry and to get our jobs, not really careers yet, but our jobs figured out for the short term. And from what I've heard, my friends have been, mostly successful since they're mostly engineers, and we all went to Cal Poly. I think that helps a lot with, getting into the job market. There's a lot of engineering jobs right now, even though it is a little tough to like find that first job, to get your foot in the door. Like Piper said, a lot of places are looking for experience right out the gate, which is hard if you don't have any internships. Like I didn't have an internship until basically the summer after I graduated. But my friends have been mostly successful in getting engineering jobs, or some of them pursued higher education, their masters, and got a lot of fulfillment from that. And there is still some stress there in terms of seeing if this is like what you want to do, if this is like your career.
Is it a fit for me? Yeah. Is this what I want to do the rest of my life? You don't have to answer. I mean, you don't have to decide that yet.
Yeah. And I think that's like an important thing, because a lot of like college students are worried about that. Like the last couple of years of my college experience, I was like, is this even what I want to do the rest of my life? Can I keep doing this forever? And a lot of my peers kind of echoed that same concern. And I think it's important to remember that this is like your collegiate experience, and what you learn is just kind of like a stepping stone to the rest of your life. And if you don't get the job you want, or you end up not liking the field you study, there is room to pivot, and you could jump from one place to another and kind of try to hone in what you like doing the best and what's going to be the most fulfilling and successful career for you.
Oh, good. Okay, so I've got littler kids. I've got the littles. So, going into high school at some point, maybe in a few years. So high school kids getting prepared for college and getting prepared for the after, college career. Any advice? High school to me, my kids aren't in there yet, but it does seem to be a little bit competitive and a little stressful getting ready for college already. I'm like, wow, this is early. Did you feel that? Is there any advice for high school kids, or just going into high school and kind of how to handle that?
Tyler, you can answer that.
Okay. Yeah, I think my high school experience was different from a lot of people. Mine was very competitive. I went to like a highly competitive school in San Diego.
You've been in this the whole time.
Yeah.
You're like, I just am driving this whole time.
Yep. So I was like taking every AP test, every AP class, like all these honors courses to just like try to keep up with the rest of my peers, which was incredibly stressful. And I think that my high school experience and with like meeting people and like having fun kind of partially suffered because of that. But it did help set me up for success and getting into engineering in both like a school and a job after. I'm not saying I needed to put that much stress on myself, and that like competition wasn't a little bit toxic, but it did motivate me to try really hard to learn a lot and really apply myself.
Piper, what about your high school? And
I kind of had a little bit of the opposite experience, just because I played sports in high school, and so I knew that I wanted to go to college for sports, and I wasn't as interested in academics. I would go to high school, but just learning and academics didn't come as easy for me as it did probably for Tyler. So for me, I committed to college my sophomore year of high school, so I didn't really have to go through taking all these really hard APs.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah,
you're like,
so
oh, the stress is over.
I had zero stress because I knew my sophomore year of high school where I was going to college. And I know a lot of people, I remember my senior year of high school, everybody stressing, sending out applications, not getting into the schools they wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, they all had to go through all of the stressors of that. And I kind of just took the easy way out and got into the college that I wanted to through sports. And obviously I wanted to play sports, so it kind of worked out perfectly. But I would just say, like, to enjoy all of your high school, because you can have the balance of excelling in academics and working really hard in academics and also doing what you like to do outside of academics. So for me, it was sports. So playing volleyball, my routine in high school, I remember, was go to school all day and then get home and go to indoor volleyball practice and then go to beach volleyball practice. And
yeah,
it was just sports all the time. So
you did like club sports, whereas Tyler did like club scholastics.
yeah,
Robotics.
Like, this is basically the same thing, different focus, but we're spending the same amount of time on each of our, collective areas.
Exactly. Totally.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I definitely would say my high school experience was a little bit different than everybody else's, just because I didn't have the stress of college.
Yeah,
really.
I love it. You guys, this is fantastic. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Okay, last thing, our quote of the podcast. What is your favorite quote of the podcast? Funny, exciting, interesting. What would be the best quote of the podcast for you? All right, Piper, you're first.
I'll go. I don't have an exact quote, but I would say my favorite part of the podcast was listening to you two talk about engineering, because Tyler, obviously me and Tyler have been dating for like almost 2 years, and he is able to tell me the very basics of engineering and what he does, just because I'm not that savvy with all of that. So it was really interesting to kind of hear you guys talk about engineering, and that it's like you guys both have that in common. So
it's super fun. I don't know why. It's so fun to talk about.
I love the technical details.
And it was really interesting for me too. I'm like, wow, that's like totally different from what I do. And it's just like, it's crazy to hear what other people's lives are like.
Yeah.
So I found it really interesting to hear the day-to-day life of Tyler, because
Good.
I know the very basics of Tyler's job.
Tyler, what's your favorite quote of the podcast?
My favorite quote is when Piper was talking about high school and how it's important to, enjoy it while, also working towards your overarching goal. And I think that's both the case in high school and life, where it's important to have goals and expectations of yourself and work towards what you want, but also not getting too entrenched in that, and also taking time to smell the roses and enjoy life and have fun and make friends along the way.
Oh, good.
That's so awesome, Tyler.
Oh, how
Thanks.
cute. Okay, my favorite quote is Piper still loves SpongeBob. I love SpongeBob. We're watching it in our house.
Me
oh
and
my
Tyler,
gosh, yeah, you both do. That's right. I love it. That's a great comment. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Oh, so awesome, Michelle. I had so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining the Be Engaged podcast, Piper Ness and Tyler Bovenzi. Best of luck as you enter the workforce. All rights reserved to Be Engaged, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, everyone.